On a doorknob that locks from one side, usually you can unlock it. But if it's misaligned, you are going to be hard pressed to be able to unlock it. So we're going to show you how to fix this by pulling the whole doorknob apart. It's not hard, just follow along. Now there's a set screw on the side of the doorknob shaft that we're going to need to access with an Allen wrench. Once you find the right size, you'll be able to unscrew the set screw to pull this doorknob shaft right off. You can see it loosening already. Okay, normally this hole at the bottom is where you would push to access, but right now we can't. And when I remove this plate, you'll see why. The underplate is upside down. This large hole needs to be at the bottom so we can put a pin through when unlocking is necessary. And we're taking the doorknob off the other side now so we can access this plate. Now we're pulling this plate off too. And you're going to see 2 screws on either side. That's our next step. All right, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, obviously, but you want the number 2, not the number 1. Even though you can put number 1 in there, if there's too much play, and you're probably going to end up stripping the screw head. So make sure you have the right size screwdriver. So you want to unscrew them equally. Now remember, these screws go all the way through to the other plate on the other side of the door. So one side might fall off while you're unscrewing these. It feels like they're loose, so I'm going to pull and see if we can get it apart now. Not quite, I've got a little more to go. Okay, we've gotten loose and we're almost there. I'm just gonna go the rest of the way with my fingers, so maybe I can catch this as it falls. And there we go. Okay, so this is the side that needs flipped around. So the hole is on the bottom. All right, now this pin is the locking pin. That is what is locking and unlocking the door. So that's why we need the hole on the plate at the bottom. And I'm going to take this plate out too, just to show you. We're plugging it into the hole. This is all one assembly. So this is the locking pin that we need access to from a hole at the bottom. This axle comes all the way out. It might fall out as you're taking the other side off, but make sure you push it all the way back in. Here are the screws. This was how we disassembled it. We're going to take those out now because they're going to be in our way as we're putting our other side back on. So we're pushing these in now, and then we'll lock it with the screws. Now we're ready to tighten it up. Try to balance it. Once you start to get close on one side, alternate back to the other. Okay, making sure this locking mechanism is unlocked, you can twist and make sure this is actually going to turn before you put the dress plate back on. It's possible if you screw these screws on too tightly, you might bind and not be able to turn. So before you put them on, just make sure everything's in working order. So we're locking it, and now this is going to be where that hole is. We're pushing in, and it unlocks successfully. Okay, we're putting the dress plates back on. Making sure the hole is right at the bottom where it needs to be. We're testing one more time to make sure it's still lined up and it's still functioning just like it's supposed to. Putting this back on, if it won't push on, it's probably because you need to back the set screw out. If you have it in too far, it's going to block your path. So now tighten it up. So we're putting the last side on, and once we get it lined up, you'll feel it. You can tighten it up and make sure you do make this very snug, because you know this is the part you hold and you don't because it gets a lot of use, you don't want it to rattle off. So tighten it very well. It's a little trickier to get it unlocked once the doorknob's in place, but it still works. So if you ever want to know how to install a bed and bath doorknob that locks on only one side, that's how you do it.